The defenders of Bilohorivka neutralized a group of Russian soldiers and destroyed several tanks. Ukrainian paratroopers from the 81st Airmobile Brigade conducted combat operations. Various types of drones were used to destroy tanks. The Russian T-64BV tank was destroyed with the help of FPV drones equipped with armor-piercing ammunition. Before storming the Ukrainian positions, the Russian invaders equipped the tank with protective grills intended to stop FPV drones. The second T-72B3 tank, also equipped with anti-drone grills, was first hit and then destroyed by a conventional grenade dropped from a drone into the hatch. The grenade detonated the tank's ammunition, which immediately exploded and completely burned the tank. The Ukrainian military also neutralized Russian soldiers by dropping explosives from drones. Alexander, a soldier of the 81st Airmobile Brigade, shared that the brigade is currently on the defensive. The Russian army is actively attacking, recently starting to attack at dawn. The time of the assaults has changed. They start at 3 a.m. and can last all day with several attempts. The daylight hours have become longer. In the morning, there is a lot of fog, so it is effective to try to storm. But all attempts failed, the paratrooper reported. The Russian army changed its tactics several times in May in an attempt to achieve success near Bilohorivka. The tactics changed 3 times this month. They started with shelling with cassettes, and then in the evening there was a convoy of 8-10 golf carts trying to get to the positions. The next attempt to storm was with heavy equipment. Then they tried to get there on motorcycles. The last assault was a massive MLRS attack, followed by vehicles, then infantry as support for the assault groups that have moved forward and are starting to attack our positions in small groups, the military added. Ukrainian troops counterattacking in the northern Kharkiv sector recovered lost ground and captured Russian prisoners of war. But bitter fighting in the town of Vovchansk was still in progress, official and open-source reports said on Wednesday. Both the Ukrainian Deep State Battle Tracking Platform and the US-based Institute for the Study of War, ISW, confirmed that Ukrainian forces had recaptured buildings and advanced in the battleground town less than 5 kilometers from the Russian border. An ISW May 22nd report called the situation in the town dynamic. There was close-in combat and firefights along the length of the Vovcha River that cuts through the town east and west, and terrain gains and losses were measured in dozens of meters, those independent reports said. Russian attacks were continuing with local commanders sending small infantry teams forward to attack terrain on the front line and launching glider bomb and artillery strikes at military and civilian targets in the Ukrainians' rear area. Russian airstrikes injured 13 civilians, among them a child, in attacks hitting the nearby major city Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest, on Wednesday morning. A statement from Ukraine's Ministry of Emergency Situations said, Russia, in early May, committed a reported 20,000-plus men to open a new active fighting front against Ukraine in the Kharkiv sector, according to Russian leader Vladimir Putin, to slice out territory at least 40 kilometers deep into Ukraine, to prevent Kyiv's forces from shooting at targets across the border inside the Russian Federation. The Kremlin assaults in early May grabbed 2 swaths of land, each some 10 kilometers wide and 5 kilometers deep, capturing 8 villages. Further attacks have stalled against Ukrainian defenses, built on reserve units quickly deployed to the sector, massed FPV drone strikes, and as had been effectively absent from Kyiv's arsenal since January, long-awaited deliveries of useful quantities of NATO standard howitzer shells. Ukrainian forces since Monday have launched local counterattacks in and around Vovchansk, retaking about half the town and capturing dozens of prisoners. Sources agreed the veteran 82nd Air Assault Brigade was leading the assaults, backed by Special Forces units from the Army and Border Troops Command. In a May 22 national video address, President Volodymyr Zelensky said the crack brigade had become the keystone of defenses in the Kharkiv sector. Video published by the 82nd on its own news feeds on Monday and Tuesday showed U.S.-manufactured Stryker armored personnel carriers moving through Vovchansk streets at careful speed and using hit-and-run tactics to blast possible targets with heavy machine gun fire. A report by Ukraine's independent ICTV television channel said the brigade recently destroyed 2 companies of Russian troops, a force normally numbering between 200 to 300 men in fighting in the town. A formation raised in Ukraine's far western, massively multi-ethnic Chernivtsi region, the 82nd Brigade is accounted one of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, AFU's, most powerful fighting formations because of a successful fighting record dating to the first days of the war.
Брат здесь, Икс.